This is the AIT GFO 126, so grand format oil heated drum. 126 is the print width, 126 inches, 10 feet, and then some. And what you're going to see today on this machine is going to apply also to our 104-inch offering, as well as we make this series in a 72-inch wide machine. For heavy-duty roll-to-roll dye sublimation transfer printing. So we're back to the GFO 126 10-foot rotary heat transfer printer for roll-to-roll dye sublimation. I've got the equipment heated up now and with at least fabric roll on there, so I want to walk through some of the features and benefits of the equipment. You're looking at the control panel, of course. We've got a touch screen, easy interface here for the operator, along with the rest of the controls on the front that you're looking at are for the unwinds and rewinds. At least on the bottom section you see with the gauges. Here we're able to, one, turn on the rewind for the transfer paper, used transfer paper. Of course, this machine has pneumatic clutches on it. The rewind has its own drive and its variable speed with an on and off. And then all of the unwinds are also pneumatic clutches. They have their own adjustments and labeling. And then the button that you see activates, the blue button that is, activates and deactivates that particular unwind on the unit. So now the unwind is active and now it's locked in place and can't be used. So simple interface as far as that goes. Otherwise, the flat screen and the adjustments there we'll go into in greater detail. One new feature that we've got in addition to the flat screen is something that's called slow speed. So you put the machine in, you click slow speed, and it basically takes the line speed down to creeper speed. So as you're feeding the paper in and fabric and threading through, you can run this at a slow speed by simply touching the button, and then when you're finished, take it off and you go back to production speed. This is talking about 0.6 linear meters per minute. Of course, you see the temperature set points on the left hand side, both the set point and the actual temperature. So more about our unwinds and rewinds. I'm going to take you over to one of the unwind stations. This particular unwind is actually the one for the transfer paper. So you're going to bring printed dye sublimation print paper here. This, I'll have to undo this so we can rotate it into position. Has a simple, quick unlocking mechanism so that the bar can be lifted out. You've probably seen these before, but when this is rotating, it clicks back into position. Meanwhile, it's a pneumatic bar, so from that standpoint, you fill it up with air. The cleats, if you want to call them that, come out and go inside the cardboard core of the, in this case, the transfer paper. We like these bars for this use for a couple reasons. Number one, these are all aluminum, so even though this is a 130-inch wide bar, so you're talking about a bar that weighs something like 35-40 pounds versus steel bars that weigh so much that it definitely takes two people to operate them. Secondly, we like the bar from the standpoint of this completely fills up the core, the cardboard core inside the print paper. And when it comes to unwind tension, at least on the print paper, that's usually a high level of tension feeding into the machine. In this case, up over this idler bar and into the machine starting here. And the fact that we've got a full 3-inch bar that fills up the core keeps the core from deflecting and causing more wrinkles in the unwinding print paper. Now, while we're here at unwinds and kind of material handling, let's talk about a couple other stations. One, our new machines have the ability to have a surface unwind, so you can actually take a roll of fabric, put it on these two rolls, one's coated, one's not coated, and let it unwind into the machine and do the transferring. Optionally, you also have an unwind where you can put the piece goods bar inside the core of the fabric. The surface rewind that you see on the bottom, surface unwind, I'm sorry, that you see on the bottom gives you the option to quickly change fabrics, and it also gives you the option of using different size cores. Our customers have let us know that it's not always a given that you're going to get a 3-inch ID core on the fabric from your fabric supplier. So we're going to take a look here in a minute at the back of the machine and those rewinds that are offered. But before we do that, a couple other features that we've added to this year's equipment. One, we've got a light tower that's letting the operators and management and other people know that you're ready to go, everything's heated up, etc. Or, of course, the other lights are in the event there's a fault of some type. If we look inside the equipment, here you can see the heated oil drum and some of the controls. You'll hear some air cycling back and forth. That's our tracking system. I'll go into greater detail in another video there. We put our heat control boards in a separate insulated box here. I've got the top open, but that is, it's hard to see, but this is offset from the cabinet itself so that temperatures are maintained on electronic circuitry like that. Another thing new for this series machine is that we've taken all the electronics. Now you're looking at the drives for the rewinds and the main drive on the equipment, along with your main electrical connection, etc. All of that is in one panel, and the panel is actually located inside one of the side panels to the machine. So from that standpoint, kind of like I showed you on the temperature control board, these electronics remain cooler in the overall operation and stay that way. Coming around to the back of the machine, you won't see a whole lot here, but basically we've got 2 rewind stations, actually 3 rewind stations now that it is in picture view. Want to focus on the one in the middle with the roll of fabric on it. What this is the fabric rewind. Now you'll notice it does not have a piece goods bar, pneumatic piece goods bar like we looked at earlier, or like you see at the bottom of the picture, but instead we've got surface wind rollers. So I'll turn those on here. Just flip that on with the side panel here. And, so what this enables you to do is rewind your printed fabric at this location. The black coating on one of the rollers is for friction so that you can rewind a nice tight roll. And then the guide bar here that you see in this location keeps the core from walking left to right and keeps it in this surface rewind. The advantage that we have here is that you can change the roll really quickly. So you can be running and you need to take 3 or 4 panels, put them on a roll, and then jump in while the machine is running, take that roll over to cutting and sewing. you can do that without stopping the machine and without interrupting the operation. Surface rewinds for the printed fabric. The other advantage here too is, even though we've got this loaded with a 3-inch ID core, I don't know if you can see that or not, but when it comes to surface rewinds, it doesn't matter the core size. So if you had a 3-inch core or 6-inch or 1-inch, etc., it can all be used here. The other advantage with surface rewinds is that the speed can be matched to the belt speed. That's in contrast to a center wind like this one. Over the course of the run, and as this roll gets larger, really the rewind speed needs to be slowed down, because as the roll gets larger, the effective speed rewinding the roll increases as well. Here's the controls for activating the unwinds, or the rewind, excuse me. So turn it off and on, pneumatic clutch, and then you have a 10-turn speed dial here, speed pot, in order to increase speeds or slow speeds down. Connection here in the back is also your pneumatic in-feed connection and your electrical connection. In this case, we've piped it directly into the cabinet, but the machine comes with a punch out here so that the wiring can go in from the cabinet and be connected to the terminal blocks provided with the equipment. Okay, we're going to talk about the touchscreen control panels on the AIT rotary heat presses today. So this is on a 10-foot rotary heat press, but this touchscreen and these controls we use on all our larger heat presses. So pretty straightforward, simple interface. You can see the temperature. There's actually 2 temperature readouts here. This one is the actual, this is actually the set point. So from that standpoint, if you want to change the set point, you push. A calculator type pad comes up, and you type in what you would like and push enter. I'll leave it at 204. All the machines are in Celsius, so 204 degrees Celsius is right at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Machine's still heating up, so it's actually showing 200, but under normal circumstances it'll come up to the set point. Then we've got speed. This is in meters per minute, linear meters per minute. So you can see we have 2.5 here. Same kind of thing. You got a calculator type pad that comes up. You push enter and you're off to the races. Let me do that again. 2, 5, enter. We're at 2.5 linear meters a minute. Alternatively, you can push these plus and minuses here to change the speed. Couple new features that we have. One, you see this slow speed button. If you'll keep your eye on our speed, you can actually touch this and the machine goes into slow feeding speed. So let's say this was your running speed, but you're feeding in paper, fabric, blotting tissue, etc., and you don't want to waste a lot of yardage. You push slow speed, it just takes it down to a slow speed, leaves all the other settings as is. Then when you're finished and you're threaded up, take it off, goes back to set point. Another new feature that we have is a yardage counter, or in this case, it's in meters. So here what you do is the green S is for start. So you push the S for start and it starts counting off the number of yards or meters that you're running at the time. And you can of course stop that with the red S. And if you want to start over, reset is there. Cooldown feature you probably don't need to know, but fundamentally at the end of the day when everything's over, push cooldown. That actually monitors the temperature and continues the machine running without heat, of course, until it's down to 100 degrees Celsius. And then at that point, it'll turn the equipment off, and the Nomax blanket is safe at that point. So that's it for the touchscreen control panels for AIT rotary heat presses. I want to show you the cooldown feature of the AIT rotary heat presses. At the end of the day, obviously, the machines need to be turned off and run until they're cooled down to the point of preventing any damage on this Nomax blanket. That's actually one of the most expensive and most critical parts of the rotary heat press. So cooldown is pretty simple. On the touchscreen panel, the operator simply touches cooldown. I want to get the belt in the picture here too, because I want you to watch something. You'll notice that the belt feed direction at this point is turning up over this drive roll at the very top. And when we go into cooldown sequence, that reverses. Now the other thing is the light wand has the blue cooldown mode in it, so it tells the operator and others that it's in cooldown. But back to the belt reversing and the so what of that, the gist is that when we reverse the belt, well, of course we have to reverse the belt tracking circuit as well. But in doing so, we maintain belt width and have better belt life, because we're able to run that belt in the reversing mode and it regains its equilibrium, you might say, and lasts longer on the AIT rotary heat presses. This is a 10-foot press that you're looking at here.